was a rock clank. 2 rock clanks.
The first video tonight comes from Lisa's Escapades, a solo wilderness exploration channel focused on remote camping in isolated environments across forests, swamps, and rural terrain. It is April 19th, 2026 in a green swamp area.
I keep hearing stuff.
The setup is controlled, truck positioned, camera equipment placed, routine established. Then it breaks. Movement, behind her. Faint, not constant, but repeated enough to interrupt what she's doing. She stops, listens, resets. Then it happens again. That's the key pattern. Not a single sound, but multiple interruptions from the same direction. At this stage, nothing is confirmed. But attention is no longer on the setup. It's on what's beyond it.
I just jumped out into that tree over there and see what it is. There's a lot of wildlife out here. It's so peaceful.
The next shift is visual, but incomplete. Something moves, fast, up into a nearby tree, close enough to confirm proximity, but too quick to identify. That matters, because it establishes one thing clearly. There is active movement within the immediate area of the camp.
Deer screaming. Of course the camera wasn't running.
Then a different type of sound. Knocking, deeper in the forest, structured, repeated. Not continuous, but deliberate enough to stand out from natural movement. She stops speaking, points the microphone toward it, waits, but nothing appears, which keeps it in the same position, heard, but not confirmed. Later, the focus shifts to recorded footage, infrared, distance view, and within it, heat signatures, faint, not clearly defined, positioned far enough away to avoid immediate identification. She calls out toward them, testing for response. Nothing approaches, no change in behavior, which leaves the footage unresolved, visible, but not understood. This one builds through proximity, not escalation, but presence at different distances. Sound behind the camp, movement near the tree line, calls across the swamp, knocking deeper in the forest, then heat signatures at range. Each moment confirms activity, but never identity. And that's what defines it, because nothing crosses fully into the campsite. Nothing presents clearly. Everything stays just outside of confirmation, close enough to track, close enough to react to, but never close enough to be understood. By the end, the environment returns to normal. No final event, no direct encounter, just multiple indicators that something was moving through the area, at different distances, at different times, without ever revealing what it was. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the video so far, leaving a like really helps. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. We recently passed 50,000 subscribers, and that's entirely because of you. The next target is 100,000 before the end of the year. Ambitious, but worth aiming for. There's a hidden word somewhere in this video. See if you can spot it. Now, let's continue. The next horrifying video comes from Natalie Outdoors, a UK-based solo wild camping creator, focused on immersive overnight experiences in remote woodland locations. It is April 19th, 2026 in Drumkira Forest, United Kingdom. This one starts before the environment even has a chance to speak. Context is introduced first. Online reports, claims of devil worship, disappearances, bad energy. That matters, because it sets expectation before observation. She's not entering a neutral space. She's entering a place already framed as dangerous. And that framing carries forward into everything that follows.
Can you hear that? I was just up there recording all, look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. All the moss. Stunning. And the next minute, freaky deaky singing coming from that direction. There could well be devil worshippers. Wow. There's so many trees.
The sound continues briefly, not loud enough to confirm, not clear enough to identify, but distinct enough to interrupt what she's doing. That's where it shifts, from environmental noise to something that feels intentional, at least from her perspective.
What is that? I hope no one's watching me right now because that was embarrassing. Right, see if Sheree falls on me.
Then multiple sounds follow. Rustling, movement, unclear origin, individually explainable, but repeated close together. That repetition matters, because once sounds begin stacking, they stop feeling isolated. She starts questioning it directly. Is someone nearby, watching? At this point, nothing is confirmed, but the interpretation has already escalated.
Oh, guys, can I get down here without sinking? So, I shouldn't be in here, but here I am. Get off. So technically, I'm trespassing right now. The Mourns is up there behind me. The creepy forest is that way, and there's a little patch of grass right down there where I am going to try and pitch my tent. I can hear people.
During the night, the pattern returns, rustling around the tent, close enough to trigger a reaction. But this time, it's reassessed, likely animal movement. That's the difference. Same type of stimulus, but now processed differently. This one is built entirely on perception, not confirmed activity, but layered influence. Expectation from online reports, environmental limitation from fog, sound without clear source, then physical instability. Each element adds pressure without ever confirming a threat, and that's what defines it. Because nothing actually escalates beyond interpretation. The sounds never resolve, the source is never seen, and by morning, everything resets. Silence, no continuation, which reframes the entire experience. Because once the environment is clear again, the earlier moments lose structure, not because they didn't happen, but because they were never anchored to anything concrete. And that's where it sits, not as evidence of something in the forest, but as an example of how quickly an environment, combined with expectation, can create the feeling that there is. The next chilling video comes from The Explorer Returns, a UK-based exploration channel focused on solo overnight challenges in remote and often unsettling environments. It is April 18th, 2026, in a woodland nature reserve in the United Kingdom. This one starts with context, but not evidence. Local stories, a headless horseman, paranormal sightings. That matters, because again, the environment is framed before it's experienced. He commits to staying overnight alone.
It's getting dark really quick, everybody. I need to hurry up, otherwise I'm going to be pitching up tent in the dark. The sun is literally setting in the next 10 minutes. Got to hurry up. So obviously, as I mentioned earlier, there are power lines leading into town. I think they go for miles out. But because I'm going so far out in this place, I'm going to use the power lines to get back in the morning, because I have no doubt I'm going to get lost. I probably wouldn't even be able to find my way back now. So I'll use these as a guide.
By the time he reaches the waterfall, isolation is fully established. No people, no movement, just distant environmental noise. Trains, wildlife. He acknowledges how far he is from safety. That's the moment the situation becomes real, because once darkness sets in, movement becomes limited, and decision-making compresses.
It is now dark, so I'm going to get this tent set up, and the only thing I can see around me is trees. Why did I do this? You guys need to help me share this video and get it out there. I just can't believe I'm doing this. Set up with the tent. I've not seen a single person. All I can hear is birds, trains in the distance. Can you hear that? That's the trains in the distance. It is now pretty much pitch black out here. I'm all alone. There's no really going back now. I don't think I fancy walking all the way back in the pitch black. Obviously I've got lights, but I've rather just kind of...
Camp is set quickly, not ideally, but necessarily. Then the environment changes again. Silence, complete. No birds, no ambient movement. That absence becomes the new baseline. And once silence becomes noticeable, any sound that follows carries more weight.
Oh my god, spider on my hands. Guys, I'm telling you, there's someone out.
Then the first disruption. Footsteps, close, paired with sticks snapping. That combination matters because it suggests weight, not just light environmental movement. The sounds don't stay distant, they remain near his position. That's what shifts it from background noise to potential presence. But still, nothing visible.
Fucking god. Did you hear that? Did you fucking hear that? I am in fucking pitch black. What the fuck was that?
He calls out, multiple times. That's a key shift. Because once you engage, you're no longer observing. You're testing for response. But nothing comes back. No voice. No movement that confirms identity. Just silence, which amplifies the uncertainty rather than resolving it.
With a torch. there someone with a fucking torch?
Then context expands again. At the edge of the forest, he's stopped by firefighters. They're responding to a reported fire. Someone attempting to set light to the woodland. That introduces a second confirmed variable. Another person in the area, with intent. This one transitions from perception to confirmation. It starts with isolation, then builds through sound. Footsteps, movement, proximity, all unconfirmed, but structured enough to feel like presence. Then at the end, it resolves. Partially. Not into something paranormal, but something real. A person, and possibly more than one event happening at once. That's what defines it. Because the sounds he experienced earlier may not have been unexplained at all, just unseen. And that changes how everything before it is interpreted. Not as something unknown, but something that was always there, just outside of visibility. The next shocking video of the night comes from Moxley's Paranormal World, a UK-based paranormal investigation channel focused on solo night explorations in remote woodland locations using real-time audio devices and minimal lighting. It is March 12, 2026 in a remote woodland nature reserve in the United Kingdom. This one starts with prior context. Not just stories, but claimed experiences. Shadow figures, people appearing and disappearing. Even the idea of walking into something that isn't physically there. That matters, because it sets expectation before any interaction begins. He's not entering a neutral space. He's entering one already defined as active.
Look at that then. I'm not too sure if that was something on the trail here. It says Bible, then it sounds like, I don't know, it almost sounds like somebody was walking.
Then the device activates. Fragmented words. Friend. Together. Individually meaningless, but placed into context, they begin forming structure. That's how interpretation starts. Not from clarity, but from alignment. Sound matching expectation.
Oh, if I heard a whisper or not then. Diabolical. Diabolical? Just after I heard a whisper, it sounded like a whisper. Diabolical. Did you just...
He moves further in. The environment changes again. Not visibly, but atmospherically. Subtle movement, unease, then a physical marker. A cross-like shape on a tree, on its own explainable, but placed within everything already happening. It becomes part of a pattern.
Chills that. Please tell me you heard that. That was a voice. That was definitely a voice. I can't make out what it said, but it was a voice that said something. Did I just hear your voice?
Then movement returns, fast, running footsteps close. He turns, and it stops, instantly. That pattern matters. Sound, reaction, silence, which suggests awareness, at least from his perspective.
Whistling. Did you just whistle? Did you just whistle? Someone speaking. Right. I keep getting a sensation like...
Voices again, faint, fragmented, speech-like, possibly forming phrases. See him. That's the key escalation, because now the interpretation changes from something present to something aware, not just in the environment, but aware of him within it.
Say, which way did he go? Not really recorded. I've just sat here for a bit because I don't know if it was maybe somebody somewhere else and they've lost a dog, or if there is actually somebody out here in the woods. And I keep hearing police just outside the woods. Heard them a few times now. You just don't know if there's somebody else here, and he might be looking for somebody who's in the woods, and here's me walking around the woods. Imagine that, some convict that's escaped from prison. It sounds a bit far-fetched, but I heard people say, 2 people, and they went, where is he? So I just turned everything off and I just made my way down here, and I just sat here for 5 minutes. But I think I'm going to start trying to find my way out of here, because I've come quite deep into the woods now. And if there is people here, they're not using a torch, because I've not seen a torchlight. I'm lighting the place up. I'm literally lighting the place up. So if there's people here and they're watching me, they know exactly where I am. But if they're not using a torch, I have not.
Voices, clearer, structured enough to resemble conversation. Which way did he go? That's the peak, because it suggests direction, movement, tracking. At that point, the situation shifts fully. Not investigation anymore, but potential risk. And that's what forces the decision. He leaves. This one builds through layers of perceived interaction. Sound, then device response, then voice, then movement, then speech. Each stage adds structure. Not enough to confirm anything directly, but enough to create the impression of progression. And that's what defines it. Because the experience doesn't stay static. It evolves. From passive noise to something that feels responsive. And by the end, the interpretation is no longer something is here. It becomes something is aware. Whether that's accurate or not is never confirmed, but the reaction is. Because once it reaches that point, he doesn't stay to test it. He leaves, and that's where it ends. Not with confirmation, but with the decision that staying is no longer worth it. The next video comes from Wildcat Adventures, a UK-based outdoor channel focused on solo wild camping, bushcraft, and exploring remote natural and historical locations. It is April 20th, 2026 in Scotland, United Kingdom.
I'm in Scotland and I'm by the side of a beautiful loch with the beautiful Bella. It's a really long walk from the car. I'm absolutely knackered. It was really boring, so I didn't want to show you the miles of road walking that I had to do. I think I found the ideal spot here. A little beach.
The journey starts under pressure, wind, heavy rain, exposure. The environment isn't stable, it's active. Movement is slowed, comfort is reduced. That matters, because it establishes difficulty before the location is even reached. Then it shifts. Gradually, the weather drops, the environment settles. By the time she reaches the loch, everything is calm, still. That contrast is important, because a sudden transition from chaos to silence creates a false sense of control. The camp is set, hot tent, food prepared, routine established. From the outside, it's stable. But the key detail remains. Conditions are expected to change again. So the control isn't permanent, it's temporary. Then the environment shifts location entirely. From open landscape to structure, an abandoned castle, old, deteriorating, partially reclaimed by nature. That introduces a different type of isolation. Not just distance from people, but distance from time. No activity, no movement, just structure left behind. And that creates a different kind of unease. Because unlike the forest or the loch, this environment has a history, even if it isn't visible.
This place is well cool. Kind of wish I'd camped here now. Right, come on.
She moves deeper inside, through openings, broken corridors, collapsed sections. The structure isn't intact, it's fragmented, which removes clear pathways. Movement becomes deliberate, slower, more controlled. Vegetation has taken over parts of the building, trees growing through walls, windows no longer functioning as boundaries. That detail matters, because it shows the space is no longer defined by its original purpose. It's no longer a structure, it's an environment, and in that state, it's unpredictable. This one doesn't rely on a direct event. No sound, no movement, no interaction. Instead, it builds through contrast. Harsh conditions, then calm. Open space, then enclosed structure. Natural environment, then something man-made that's no longer controlled. Each transition changes how the space is read. Not more dangerous, but less certain. And that's what defines it. Because the tension doesn't come from something happening. It comes from how quickly the environment changes without warning. From exposure, to comfort, to isolation, to something that feels just slightly out of place. By the end, nothing escalates. Nothing confirms a threat. But the setting leaves an impression. Not because of what's there, but because of what's been left behind, and how it feels to move through it alone. Before we get into the next clip, around 70% of people watching aren't subscribed. We're working toward 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you're enjoying the video, hitting subscribe really does help. Alright, let's get back to it. The last video of the night comes from Exploring with Bear, a US-based wilderness exploration and survival-style channel focused on solo camping in remote woodland environments, often documenting alleged disturbances and unexplained activity in real time. It is February 27, 2026, in a remote woodland campsite near a lake in Canada. He returns to the campsite expecting recovery, not investigation. This isn't a fresh setup, it's a revisit. And that matters, because the baseline has already been established from the previous night. The first detail stands out immediately. The tent, still standing, but zipped shut. That's the shift, because it wasn't left that way. Inside, the structure is intact, but disturbed, not destroyed, not scattered, just altered. That distinction is important.
Something was left inside the tent, and this is the tree that was thrown. I'm glad that didn't hit the tent when I was in it. So I see my coffee pots still in the fireplace. And there's still some wood. Look at that, man.
Then a more precise detail emerges. The coffee percolator, still there, but incomplete. Internal components missing, not broken, not scattered, removed. That matters. Because it requires contact and intent. Whether human or not, it's selective.
Oh, there's a bone. Holy smokes, man, that's a big bone. Holy smokes, man. This bone was like cut That looks like it was cut. Is that a person bone? Or a big, big animal? What kind of bone is that? Comment if you know. Where's the rest of it? That's
Then confirmation of interaction. An apple previously left on a tree, now with a bite taken out of it. That removes ambiguity. Because this is no longer environmental change. It's direct contact with a placed object.
Found some monster dog, wolf, dog man tracks maybe. Any tracks? Oh, that's right. There was remains down here too. Right by the wolf tracks. I forgot all about that. Man, I didn't even think about that when I was camping here the other night. I forgot about that. Right in here, something was killed as well, with huge dog.
Then a break in control, a sudden sound, near a vehicle deeper in the woods, short, unclear, but close enough to interrupt movement.
The stick snapped by our camp. This place is so scary. It's daylight, and this still has me on edge, and I can see everything around me right now. And I'm armed, and still on edge. I don't know, man.
Then the most direct anomaly, the tent, secured again. And inside, a message. Lucky, not assumed, not interpreted, written. He confirms he did not leave it. That's the key moment. Because it introduces something different entirely. Not just presence, but communication. Alongside it, water inside the tent. Another change without a clear cause.
Oh! That was a rock clank! 2 rock clanks! There's 2 different things knocking out there right now too. 2 rock clanks. What is that? It's like it's just banging on a tree. They left a message. 1 word, Lucky. The tent is okay, but they left that behind. That's not a woodpecker. Woodpeckers are fast, I think. What is that? What is that?
Then a final visual detail. A black cat crosses his path. Normal in isolation. But within this sequence, it becomes another variable added to an already unstable environment. This one doesn't rely on a single moment. It builds through accumulation. Altered objects, missing components, physical traces, direct interaction, then communication. Each stage removes another explanation. Not completely, but enough to narrow possibilities. And that's what defines it. Because individually, everything here can be explained. But together, they stop behaving like coincidence. By the end, it's no longer about what happened. It's about the pattern it forms. Something entered the campsite, interacted with specific objects, returned more than once, and left behind just enough evidence to confirm presence, without ever revealing what that presence actually was. Thanks for watching. If those 6 encounters rattled you, be sure to give the video a like and subscribe for more creepy content every week. The next mystery might be even darker than this one.